Hey, welcome back to the channel. If you're new to my channel, I'm trying to grow it. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. It really helps me out. Thanks. Today we're going to talk about Sturgis. We're going to cover, should you go to Sturgis? Where should you stay when you're at Sturgis? How much money should you bring? And we're going to go over some things. What should you expect? If you like the video, please like it, and also please subscribe to the channel to help me grow it. Thank you. So I've went to Sturgis for the last 3 years, starting in 2019 through 2020 and 2021. The first 2 years I went by myself, and obviously that first year I had a fear because of the unknown. I don't claim to be an expert on Sturgis, but I'm going to do this video just to give my perspective and maybe help out somebody who hasn't been before. Obviously, you're considering going to Sturgis. That's probably why you're watching this video. Sturgis is fun and exciting. There's many things to do for many different reasons, and hopefully giving you a little bit of knowledge from my experience over the last 3 years will help make it not so scary initially and a lot more enjoyable trip for you. Sturgis really is what you make it. If you want to go and let loose and party and have a good time, you can definitely make that happen. But if you're the kind of person who just wants to relax and enjoy the motorcycle rides around the Black Hills and seeing all the scenery and the tourist sites, that's definitely doable too. So I think the best part about Sturgis is riding. That's the most enjoyable thing for me. The Black Hills is one of the most amazing places I've ever been to ride. You've got hills, you've got steep upgrades, downgrades, you've got hairpin turns. There's several routes and county roads that you can ride on with different skill levels, and you just can't beat the ride. That's one of the most amazing things about Sturgis. There's several sights and sounds that you'll experience at Sturgis. There's many attractions you can go to. You can go to Crazy Horse, the monument for Crazy Horse. You can go to Mount Rushmore. You can visit the state national parks. If you want to go see buffalo, you can go see buffalo. I'd advise you not to mess with the buffalo. Don't rev your engine and startle the buffalo. I have not been to Iron Mountain yet, but I definitely want to go see Iron Mountain. It's just across the street into Wyoming. Needles Highway, I've been on Needles Highway, go up see the Needles Eye. It's an amazing ride. It's an amazing experience. There's the historic town of Deadwood. There's the Badlands. The Badlands from the Sturgis area, it's about an hour ride, but it is the only 2-lane road I've seen, just a regular highway, one lane going one way, lane coming back the other way. And I do believe the speed limit was 70 miles an hour. It's just a straight shot there. So it's not much by the way of curves, but it's an amazing experience. There's Spearfish Canyon. I haven't been there yet. You can go visit that. To me, Sturgis is like a big, outside of the partying, it's like a big fair for bikers. Just about every town in the area shuts off their main street to the bike rally and kind of has like a fair. There's several wide variety of vendors, booths there. You can get Sturgis patches and pins. You can get all kinds of motorcycle gear and see the latest motorcycle gadgets. A lot of Harley Davidson, Indian, JP Cycles, they set up booths. They actually even have stores down there. You can get lots of t-shirts and sweatshirts, clothing to remember your adventure to Sturgis. There's places you can buy jewelry if that's what you're looking for. There's all kinds of souvenirs and gifts you can get from Sturgis. Just keep in mind on the t-shirts and clothing, the longer you wait into the rally, they come down on the prices. But if you're a size that's very common, sometimes you gotta find that balance, because if you wait too long, they may be out of your size. I don't mind spending a little bit extra money to make sure I get my size in the beginning. There are several bars and restaurants. The Iron Horse Saloon's there. You can go drink. They have various activities and bands and motorcycle shows going on during those. But outside of the bars and restaurants, these are towns. These are normal, regular towns. So they have the normal town stuff. There's fast food places. There's McDonald's. There's everything you would see in a normal, regular town. So there's just a lot to do, a lot to see. So where should you stay when you go to Sturgis? Well, when the Sturgis Rally isn't going on, or any other events at various times of the year, they're just normal cities. So Sturgis, Deadwood, Hill City, all the towns in the area have hotels and motels that you can stay at. There are several campgrounds in the Sturgis, Hill City, Deadwood area. Some of the most popular ones are the Buffalo Chip, the Full Throttle, the Broken Spoke, Glencoe. Just keep in mind, the closer you get to the Sturgis area, the more rowdier the crowds at those campgrounds are. Rapid City has a KOA. Rapid City is about an hour away. There's an interstate that goes from Rapid City to Sturgis, and if you don't mind driving on the interstate, it's about an hour away. Just keep in mind, if you're going to stay at one of the hotels or one of the bigger campground areas, you probably want to plan about a year in advance. A lot of people make their reservations as they're leaving Sturgis. Also, the quicker you make your reservations, the better deal you get on a price. And obviously, the closer you get to the rally, some of those bigger areas you might not be able to get in because they might not have anything or much available. You can obviously tent camp, RV camp, camper, RV, same thing. Just for my story, the first year I went, well, first of all, but let me back up. I have a decommissioned ambulance that the county got rid of, that I bought, that I converted into a camper, that I'm in the process converting into camper. It's kind of a ongoing process. I do a little bit each year to add to it. But my first year in 2019, when I decided to go to Sturgis, a lot of people said they were going to go, but backed out at the last minute. So I, without a doubt, decided I was going to go. So I went by myself. I didn't make no plans. I was a little bit intimidated. Am I going to have a place to stay? But I was like, worst case scenario, I'll stay at a Walmart parking lot if I had to. But I drove. It's about an 18-hour drive, 1,200 miles, with stops and taking my time at stops and even sleeping for a couple hours on the way. I ended up taking me about 24 hours. But when I got about 2 hours from the area, I just went on my phone and Googled campgrounds and just started calling campgrounds. Lucky enough, I found a campground that is pretty much halfway in between Rapid City and Deadwood, because there's a highway 385 that runs parallel to the interstate, and in between Rapid City and Deadwood is this campground that I found, and they had a reasonable price. It was $45 a night, and I think I stayed 5 nights or 7 nights, and I loved it because I wasn't right on top of Sturgis, so I wasn't where all the party campgrounds were at, and that's not what I went for. If you want to go to party and do a little bit of drinking and stuff like that, those bigger campgrounds that are meant for partying, of course they cost a little bit more. They even have shuttles into Sturgis that you can take a shuttle in town, do whatever you want to do, and then shuttle yourself back out to those campgrounds. And then of course those campgrounds are pretty much self-contained. You really wouldn't have to leave there at all if you didn't want to, unless you want to go see some sights or go into the town of Sturgis. But I like my campground because I could roll out, go pick a destination, go ride and do that destination, whether seeing Mount Rushmore or Crazy Horse or something like that, or if I was riding into Sturgis just to run around the town and see the sights and experience what Sturgis has to offer, and then I would roll back into the campground in the evening and just have a nice peaceful atmosphere in that campground. So everything's doable. If you want to stay at a hotel, if you want to ship your bike out there, if you want to stay in a hotel, if you want to sleep in a tent, you want to party, anything's available. So how much money should you bring? Well, again, that's kind of depends on what kind of experience you're looking for when you go to Sturgis. But some of the basics, you need to plan your fuel there and back. I don't remember what the gas prices were my first year I went, but I figured up 1,200 miles, and I got about 10 miles to gallon in my ambulance. I figured about 300 miles or $300 to go down there and $300 to go to back. So I allowed myself $600-700 for fuel both ways. Then you have to plan for your cost of where you're staying at. I think the campgrounds for $45 a night for me was right around $300. So with fuel and my lodging, it was right around $1,000. Obviously, the closer you stay to Sturgis, at the more party campgrounds, you're going to spend more money. Your food expense, I went and got a bunch of food from Walmart. I think I spent a little under $100. And then when I was out riding around, then of course I ate out while I was out riding my motorcycle in the area. So I think $100, maybe $150, $200 on food. And then you got to plan, are you going to buy things? Are you going to buy t-shirts? Are you going to buy leathers? Are you going to buy gear? Are you going to get yourself some gifts or souvenirs? I bought a lot of t-shirts. I just wanted t-shirts to commemorate my trip there, and I spent way too much money on clothes and stuff like that. I spent about $500. So all in all, I spent about $1,500. I don't know if that's a lot of money for you. It definitely is a lot of money. But you can definitely spend more money, and you definitely can spend a lot less money. Just depend on what your plans are. I don't know if that's helpful, but it's just my perspective and what it all cost me. So what are some things you can expect about Sturgis? First of all, you should know that Sturgis is the first Friday in August, which makes it that first full weekend in August, and it's for 10 days. So it's from weekend to weekend, that first Friday to Sunday of the next weekend. You should expect all kinds of weather. It's definitely hot during the day. It can rain up in the mountains, it can snow, it can even hail. The second year I went in 2020 for the 80th anniversary, I had just got to the campsite. I was just setting everything up, and I had a Walmart canopy thing. And I was like, should I set it up or shouldn't I set it up? And I decided to. And as I was in the middle of setting it up, I had it all expanded out and the tarp tight, and all of a sudden I heard bang, bang, loud bang. I was like, what in the heck is that? And then as I was hearing bangs, I started hearing people in the distance yelling. I heard, ow, ow. I started looking around, and there was hail almost the size of the palm of my hand coming down. It was pretty interesting. I learned a very valuable lesson that day. People out on the road that was riding, what do you do in the middle of a hailstorm? Well, they all simply just pulled their bikes to the edge of the road and they hit the wood line. It definitely can get windy at night. That's something you want to be aware of, if it's going to be windy that night or not, because that canopy that I set up, it blew away. It didn't last 2 nights and it blew away, but it didn't hail anymore, so I didn't really need it. And thankfully, the frame of it didn't hurt anybody's camper or anybody's bikes. It's hot during the day, and it can get cold and seem really cold in the evenings and at night and early in the morning. So that's what I normally do at night. I camp out, snuggle up near a fire at my campground. And that next morning, I'd wake up, make myself some breakfast, and then wait till the sun comes up and starts warming up, and then I'd go out for a ride again. You can expect to see all kinds of bikes at Sturgis. There's a lot of Harleys. There's definitely a lot of Harley Davidsons. But it's not the only kind of bike down there. I've seen Honda Goldwings. I've seen dirt bikes. I've seen crotch rockets. People don't care what you ride. And matter of fact, outside of riding around on the roads and enjoying the scenery, if you're at Sturgis, you're at a campground, your bike's parked. No one cares what you ride. I know some friends that went last year, they didn't even have a motorcycle. 2 girls, they just drove down and enjoyed the festivities without even having a motorcycle. There's definitely places you can park your car. Most of the towns have free parking. There's a heavy police and security presence. They ship officers in or bring officers in from outside agencies to help cover and patrol the area. It's very safe. Keep in mind, if you want to find trouble, you could definitely find trouble. Make sure when you're at the stop signs, make sure you put your feet down. A little bit about Sturgis. Lozelle Street runs long through the middle of town, and then Main Street is a street over, runs parallel to Lozelle Street. Well, they block off Main Street for motorcycle parking for several blocks. But there's plenty of stuff to do on Lozelle Street. That's where most of the business is at, and there's some vendors and stuff like that. But over on Lozelle Street, there's just as many vendors on each side of the road and things to enjoy, but they don't block that off to cars. There's car traffic on there too, but it's relatively safe. People usually yield the right of way to other people, and they take their turn at the 4-way stops, and it's really safe. And like I said, the police don't mess with you. At least they didn't my 3 years that I've went, and I just stayed out of trouble. I wasn't looking for trouble. I didn't find any. You should definitely do your research. Watching these videos is part of that. You should bring cash. Everybody says you should bring cash. I use both. I use cash and credit card, but everybody says you should use cash or bring cash. I also would suggest that you bring a little extra money. I went over what it cost me and what's a good estimate on the kind of trip that I had. But you should bring extra money just in case you have a vehicle breakdown, or who knows, you might want to splurge and do a little bit more than you thought you were going to do. Definitely plan early. The earlier you plan, the better rates that you get. The campground that I actually have, I reserved it when I left, but they don't want me to pay till now. It's in December of 2021. I'm getting ready to give them a call and reserve my camp spot for next year, because they like it on their next year's books. That's why they want me to wait till December to actually pay. And definitely plan for all kind of weather. If you plan for rain, take your rain gear. It probably won't rain. But if you don't take it, most likely you're going to get stuck in the rain. This is just a little bit of information from my experience about Sturgis. It helps some of you new people out, and maybe even people that's been there for a while. This, by far, is not all the things you need to know about Sturgis. You could go the whole 10 days for several years and you can't experience everything there is to experience. But it's definitely a worthwhile trip. And if you go in 2022, I'll see you down there. Thanks for watching my videos. And like this video if you liked it, please. And if you do have a YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, because I am trying to grow my channel. That way it just gets bigger and these videos will actually reach more people. Again, thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you down at Sturgis. I'm signing out. No matter where you're at in life or what you have going on, there will always be others looking down on you. Their life is so damn miserable because all they do is judge what others do. Fuck them. Live your life your way. Enjoy and have fun till the end.